So here's the million-dollar question. With the Democrats, at least 8 of them, voting to invoke cloture, which moves forward on the government funding mechanism, did the Democrats cave? In short, the answer, I believe, is yes. Now, I've been in these rooms and I know how this works. First off, we have to acknowledge that the pressure is really intense. This is probably a moment where the pressure gets more intense than almost anything besides maybe like a vote for war or something like that. Because again, you're seeing all these effects. You know that you can take a vote that would reopen the government, but the question is, are you blowing your leverage for future things? Now, let's go back. Republicans, when they won the Senate, the House, and the presidency, they were really bragging about the fact that they don't need Democrats anymore. They basically said, we have all of government, we can do what we want. They've not only not negotiated with Democrats, in many cases, they've actually pulled back funding that they agreed with Democrats on. And so Democrats rightfully have no trust in them. And so they have this moment, according to the Constitution, where they have a tiny bit of leverage. Now, again, Republicans control all of government, so it's up to Republicans to find the way to get to government funding because they have full control. Democrats have this little opportunity through the cloture vote to get something, frankly, little, like the ACA subsidies, which were already there anyway, that they just need to renegotiate. And so Republicans made a decision. Instead of negotiating even during the shutdown, Mike Johnson sent everybody home. They haven't even been in D.C. And by the way, the whole time the government's been shut down, members of the House have been paid twice, a gross total of about $30,000, while air traffic controllers and TSA and everybody else is not being paid. And they're not even in Washington, D.C. doing their job. They're not doing town halls. They're at home. I haven't heard of any doing town halls. Have you? And so I think the Democrats were at the point of really putting some pain on the Republicans. And again, there are innocent casualties in this, so we don't want to sound heartless about it. But Democrats have got to use what leverage they have. And I think they kind of fell pressure to the pain. And, we'll see. They're going to end up getting a vote on this. I don't think that vote will necessarily come to the House. I don't think it'll necessarily mean that it gets done. Now, do I think the Democrats achieved nothing? No, I think they frankly achieved a lot, which is they were showing a willingness to fight. And also they brought attention to, what is going on with these ACA subsidies. So I do think there's victory. I think the Democrats are in a better position than they went into this. But I personally think they probably should have held out a little longer. I don't think this is a massive failure that some people are saying it is. I think there is some victory here. But the long and the short of it is the Republicans still have the onus to fund government. And they've unfortunately co-opted the Democrats into sharing that. So also keep in mind that during this whole shutdown, everything going on, not only is Congress being paid, the ballroom that Donald Trump is building, that construction continues. He is throwing big parties at Mar-a-Lago like a Great Gatsby party, true story, and cutting off, proactively trying to prevent food stamps from being paid out to states. So when you compare the fact that, and now Elon Musk, who will be worth $1 trillion very soon, spent the whole first part of the year cutting USAID and things that didn't cost very much and saved lives. You put those kinds of patterns in contrast with the excess during the shutdown, this was turning against Republicans in a pretty big way. So do I think the Democrats that voted to open it are traitors or anything like that? No. I think they probably made the choice they thought was best. I just think the Democrats could have extracted more out of this. But we're going to be up in January against another funding fight, so we'll see how that goes.